I want to say thank you to both Fed and Evelyn. I had to do a couple of other things, and you see that they stepped in so we would be on time. So thank you, Fed, for chairing the convention for that period of time. I also want to thank Evelyn for all of those community service events that we did on Sunday. And I want to particularly raise the one about the citizenship clinics. How many citizenship clinics have you done? Many. I think many is the answer. I think we're seeing. Oh, I see. We're trying to find the gavel. But these are clinics that we do with locals all across the country for people who want to become American citizens. We, our union, and lawyers and others help them go through what is a really onerous process. Thank you, Evelyn, for doing that work. Now, today is about, as you see, it's about the stakes and about with all the resolutions that we've seen. And yes, I'm glad Sean is coming. He was supposed to come today. He couldn't, and he was going to do a video message. I had invited him to the convention many weeks ago. The UAW and the AFT have always been and always have had a close alliance over many years. And so he wanted to come, and so he's going to come tomorrow morning instead of today, and I'm very excited that he is coming. This is Sean Fain. There are several Seans who are labor leaders, Sean Fain. So I'm sure he will be thrilled that that motion was passed. But you heard from Lena Khan. You also heard from some of the pension trustees about some of the work we're doing on private equity. We are working with our trustee council, and today we released a report on private equity, on needing to have labor standards within the private equity stratosphere. This is the new way that that capital markets are actually using money to really gobble up not only hospitals but other entities, fire people, change the way in which the economy works. And so we not only want to call them out for their bad acts, but what this report says is what should actually happen in terms of labor standards of these companies that actually own other companies. So that report was released today in conjunction with the resolution that you just passed in terms of labor in the economy. And we have one more incredible economic speaker that I hope that you will enjoy. And we're going to do a fireside chat to my left, your right. And that is Rohit Chopra. He is the director of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So Rohit, would you come up on stage, and then you and I will do a little fireside chat about all the different things that he is making good trouble about. So, Rohit and I think Jessica Tang may know you longer than I know you because I didn't know you in college. He's a lot younger than I am. But we go back a long time. And one of the things that we did, by the way, you may not know, we filed a lawsuit against Mohila.
Oh, I know.
He has a similar feeling about Mohila as I do. And so we filed it yesterday, and hopefully we will get them to actually correct their bad acts like we did with Navient. And I met Rohit a long time ago when we were doing a lot of the student debt work and trying to figure out how to advocate for these servicers to do the right thing. Of course, they wouldn't. Their profits meant more for them to them than anything else. But since that point, you have taken on a really important job in the administration. Rohit now leads the entity that Elizabeth Warren championed the creation of in the Obama administration right after the last recession. And so whether it is credit card debt or student loan debt or medical debt, the bureau that you head, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, you're changing the lives of working people in ways that probably most of you don't know. Anyone in the audience, do you know what the Consumer Protection Review Board is? How many people? Raise your hands. It's, you know, this way we level set in terms of what we start talking about first. So, not a lot of people. So, why don't we first then talk about what the Bureau is, and then let's go through and have some fun and go through a few of the issues. I know the teleprompter people are I know I'm acting crazy, sorry. But why don't we go through what it is, and then go through a couple of the places where you're really doing this work to lower costs and to take on corporate greed. How's that?
Well, let me just say first, thank you to everyone who's here. I listened to your resolutions and the discussion you had on it, and I thought to myself, everything that this union has been doing for years has changed America so much. You know, there's such a big theme in what you talked about, which is what happens when corporations and Wall Street dictate the rules instead of us. And whether it is the financialization and corporatization of education that led to a massive $1 trillion student loan crisis, or big investors gobbling up essential health care all over the country and driving up tens of billions of dollars in medical debt for people, we have to make sure that the rules are not dictated by a few of them. And really, if we believe in we the people, we set the rules and we make sure people abide by them.
Right.
So after the big financial crisis where hundreds of thousands of people lost their homes, millions more lost their wealth, and our country had the biggest increase in the racial wealth gap that destroyed decades of progress, we need to redouble our effort to make sure that government agencies like the one I run are actually working for people rather than profit-seeking investors. So I really see the work of AFT, whether it's organizing healthcare workers against those private equity entities buying up hospitals and other places, or all the work we've done together over the past decade on student debt. We have to keep going and going and going.
So a lot of what I've tried to do today by having the scholars here, and I'm so glad that in the argument today on these motions, people were using what the scholars were saying. I just thought that was just amazing. But part of what a convention does is it creates a taste so that it opens our aperture to lots of different things. Lena Khan, we've never had an FTC chair who actually tries to trust bust on behalf of working people. And she is really special. And this guy is really special too. And so when we go through these, areas, it gives you a sense of what the federal government can do for us. And it's different than, strikes are really important, but so are being able to sweat the details of this, because every one of those corporate mojos, they have legions of lobbyists that work against us each and every day. So let's take, for example, credit card debt. Can we do credit card debt, or you want to do medical debt
Let's
first?
start with those credit cards.
Okay. Let's do credit. And do you want us to talk about credit card debt or no? Okay. We're trying to be like what's really relevant to the body. Because you're going to see the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau deals with virtually every cost issue that affects our lives and our families' lives. So many people, and I bet, including some in this room, they're facing mounting credit card debt because, as I said yesterday, the cost of bacon are just too damn high. But it's living costs, it's paying for things that kids need in classrooms, it's paying for childcare, it's paying for housing costs. So what steps is the Consumer Financial Protection Board taking to help consumers reduce their credit card debt?
Well, I start with this. People who have credit card debt, it's often we treat them in our society that they did something wrong. But in reality, most people who are accumulating that debt are just trying to live their life. I was at lunch, Randi. I sat with one of the leaders of, I believe her name was Serena, of an Oregon union. And she said,
HP, where are they?
And she said
there they are.
that one of the issues was that her members aren't getting paid accurately. The systems are so messed up. And one of the things that I always remind people who are bargaining.
It's a common problem. Ask San Francisco.
But here's why it matters. When you're not getting paid on time or accurately, you don't get to opt out of your rent. You don't get to opt out of your utility bill. So what happens? You often charge money on your credit card. And now credit card is over $1 trillion in debt. And guess what? We uncovered that the nation's largest credit card issuers created a multi-billion-dollar junk fee scam where they are layering on late fees and other penalties that we think is completely illegal under the law. And so we have put into place new rules to really cut some of that out. And you're right, the lobbyists are trying to fight us, but credit cards are really just supposed to be something you get, a basic loan. We also uncovered that the biggest Wall Street credit card issuers have jacked up their rates to sometimes 30% or more. So we are doing our work to really hold some of these credit card companies accountable. We have taken big actions against them, but we also need to make sure that you, as union leaders and members, are making sure that we are not letting people suffer in silence with their debt. And often we need people to raise their hand, file a case with us at consumerfinance.gov. We have gotten people so many refunds and so much help, and we will continue to hold them accountable for it.
Can we put that website up on the graphics? Say it again.
Consumerfinance.gov. It's great. You get to file with us. It doesn't go in some sort of black hole. We order the bank to reply to you, and every day thousands of people are getting help from us.
That's amazing. So, consumerfinance.gov. So you hear junk fees. There's junk fees. Why don't you give us a definition of junk fees? No, I'm going to get back to medical debt. So thank you.
Well,
just give us a little bit of a definition about
Here's
junk
what
fees.
I've been seeing over the economy in the past 15 years. there's all these strange new charges that aren't in the upfront price, but they're in a line item, and you see it everywhere. You see it when you're buying tickets to things. You even see it now on restaurants. And what it is a way to find a way to exploit someone and take a little extra. So we consider junk fees a couple things. One, it's a hidden or undisclosed fee. It's something that you don't even want, or you can't explain what it is, or it's not subject to normal competition. And the CFPB has wiped out tens of billions of dollars in bank overdraft fees, other mysterious fees, and we're going to go on, and it has saved the average family hundreds of dollars every year.
Fantastic. Okay, let's talk medical debt. And you started talking about this, Rohit, but my recollection is last month you and Vice President Harris announced changes on how medical debt is reported to credit agencies. Now, again, medical debt, just like student debt, just like credit card debt, all of a sudden, if someone, God forbid, in your family has cancer, and the health insurance plan has not worked the way you want it to work or need it to work, and somebody needs surgery immediately, and you're not going to wait till a healthcare provider says the surgery is okay. All of a sudden, there's now significant medical debt for your family. It's not, and this is, I think, the norm, not the exception anymore. Medical debt has now replaced, I think, credit card debt, and it's vying with mortgage debt as the single biggest debt in people's lives, right? Am I getting that right or no?
It is right. And here's what I remember. 15, 20 years ago, we started seeing the signs of the creep of student debt. Now we're seeing it with medical debt. And here's what happens. Even if you have insurance, you as the patient are sometimes stuck between this doom loop between the insurance company and the provider. And you know what they do when they can't figure out their own paperwork? They put it on people's credit reports to threaten their credit score and their ability to pass a background check or get a loan. And what do a lot of people do? They just pay it. And often this debt is inaccurate. It's not even owed. And I'm very grateful to Vice President Harris that she joined me in announcing that we are proposing a full ban on parking medical debt on consumer credit reports. The reason it's different, a credit report is supposed to help a lender determine if you pay a loan back. You don't desire medical debt. You know, you take out a mortgage, you take out an auto loan, it's because you're buying a house or a car. You're forced sometimes to have this medical debt. And a credit report should not be a tool for debt collectors to coerce people into paying loans they don't even owe. So we are doing that as our first step, but we have to make sure that the healthcare community, and that means many of you in this room, make the argument that the big players who are harming workers in our healthcare system are harming patient care and driving up debt for consumers, and we all have to attack this holistically.
So, I want to do private equity and I want to do big tech. See, this is like the bureau that you don't know about that does all this stuff. So, you know, private equity. Now, a lot of us talked about hedge funds a long time ago. And, you know, we know that in some ways, all of these corporate monoliths, they actually pay less taxes than a firefighter or a teacher because of the way in which their money is hidden in some ways. But it is not just what happens for themselves. In private equity, what we're seeing is that the private equity companies are very much lurking in the shadows. How many nurses are in the room right now? And technicians and doctors, just raise your hands for again. As we sit here today, private equity is now buying up more and more and more hospitals. A hospital we had in Youngstown was bought up by private equity. Stewart, who is in Massachusetts and in Ohio, yes, bought up by private equity. You remember Toys R Us? They were bought up by private equity. Red Lobster was bought up by private equity. But now what happens is when private equity buys these things up, then you're no longer dealing, and this is important in the strike situation too, you're no longer dealing with the employer on the ground. You're dealing with this nameless, faceless entity that doesn't actually care what's happening on the ground. So I think the question is, now, you overheard me talk about the new report we put out. But with all of your experiences, what's your thoughts about private equity and in some ways, at least what consumers need to be aware of? And then hopefully, when we win the next election, then we're going to start fighting for the kind of labor standards that we're talking about in this report right now.
I want everyone to know that for those of you who lived in neighborhoods or cities or towns that were impacted by the subprime mortgage crisis, you actually saw the boarded up houses, you saw people lose their homes, and it was because a massive Wall Street machine saw profit. And this is one of the new ways in which people say, you know what, I'm gonna set up a Wall Street vehicle and I'm gonna buy every hospital in the area or every single healthcare clinic or every single prison or every single home in an area, jack up the prices, take the profits for myself and leave everything else out to dry. And so what the new report that AFT has published is a lens in to how people need to think about how Wall Street is moving money around to gain more control. And I think it's a major contribution to the debate that we have to have. And ultimately, you all need to know who is pulling the strings when it comes to ownership and control of all of these companies. It will make you stronger when it comes to the bargaining table, but it raises some big, big issues about who owns assets in America. And at the end of the day, I really think the rules should be structured for people creating the real value in our society, not those who know how to hide behind LLCs and investment vehicles.
So, and you will see the union. I mean, look, there is an election tomorrow, and there are two candidates running. So I will just say, you will see the union, if my team is elected, keep on doing this kind of work and really dig down into this private equity work and expose it. And that's part of what our pension trustees and our new Worker Capital Center is trying to do. So the one last biggie, and then I have one more question for you, kind of like what's the impact of the Chevron overturn on all of this. But the one last question I have for you is one that we talk about, we think about all the time, which is big tech and privacy rights and data protection. So just a few days ago, how many people in the room have AT&T as their cell phone service? Big data breach in AT&T. God only knows how much of all of our data is now gone or hacked into by someone. That's one issue. But the other issue in terms of big tech is how much data they have on us right now and how they're using it. And so how do we hold big tech accountable for their obligations to protect our data? And how do we actually teach people about the damn algorithm and what they do in terms of routinely violating all of our protection, all of our privacy rights? So this, in some ways, right now, you're really the only agency in the government that's actually dealing with this. If we get COPPA and all of those other laws passed, maybe we will have something more. If we get some laws passed in terms of AI, maybe we will have something more. But right now, my friend, it's on your shoulders.
Well, I like to sometimes say, many of us in America, we've kind of feel like we've given up. We know that we're supposed to care about our privacy, but we can't read all that fine print. We have to click and move on. We can't not use any apps or social media. It's not realistic. But I don't think privacy is about having a tinfoil hat and worrying. Privacy is about power and control. So when I am able to collect all the information about your web browsing history, your contacts, where you drive, how fast you drive, everything you tap with your phone to pay, I can create a very detailed dossier about you. And what does that lead to? It means control over you. It means that I know when you are dealing with a loss of a loved one and I can target you. I know that it means when you're dealing with an urgent need to buy a gift for Mother's Day, I know. And it turns us into a world where a handful of companies can actually manipulate us in ways we could never understand. They can create personalized pricing where they charge you something different than you for the same exact good. It means that they know all sorts of things in ways that give them an advantage over all of you. And let me just say, across the country, we have people who work in factories, in warehouses, and other places who now wear devices that track them and report them and know how to exact control over them. So I think we need to make sure that we don't allow that to control them. We have seen in China 2 companies, Alipay and WeChat Pay. They know every single person's payments everywhere, and it gives them lots of control. I think the U.S. should choose a different path, and we should make sure that these big tech companies don't control all of us and that we have control over their business practices.
I think if you watch the politics of the next few months through what Rohit just said, it will become more understandable why Elon Musk is now giving Trump $45 million a month in this election, why the name Peter Thiel will start becoming a name you're familiar with, and he and Musk wanted Vance because the next administration, it's not just about the issue of what the corporate tax rate is. This issue around what AI is, how AI is and isn't regulated, which is something that big tech is very interested in. This is going to be just like the frontier a few years ago was technology itself and then social media. This will be the new technological frontier. And it's part of the reason why one of the things they want, and this is my last question in terms of Chevron, why, there is a routine push to get rid of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau because of what its purpose is. So how does the overturning of the Chevron doctrine by the Supreme Court, how does that play into everything you just talked about?
Well, one of the things that I didn't mention in my last answer is pretty soon the CFPB is going to be proposing new rules to rein in data brokers and others that collect all this data about us. So we're going to give you all, hopefully, more rights and more restrictions to do it. But every single thing we do, whether it's those credit card junk fees, whether it's mortgage protections, like you said, lobbyists and powerful interests take us to court. You mentioned the Chevron Supreme Court decision that it was overturned. I hope that means that, yes, we will have more of a boulder to push up the hill, but I think with everyone here, we'll push up that boulder together and do it.
This is that imagination that Eddie was talking about. Imagine that we can actually have more rights and work together and use the federal government to help working families. So you said, and workers, and you said before, because it's the last question of, okay, if somebody needs some help here, if somebody thinks that the Consumer Bureau could help us, what's that number or that email that they can reach you at? Not Rohit personally, but the Bureau itself.
Well, when across the country, many of you have participated in student debt clinics that the CFPB has worked with AFT on. And one of the things we've done is help.
We've had 25,000. We've helped 25,000 people in our clinics.
And by the way, that has gotten people student debt cancellation across the country.
Yeah.
Helping people avoid some of those big burdensome debts, but it's not just student debt, it's credit cards, mortgages, credit reports, credit scores. I think in your local, when you have colleagues and members who are struggling with their finances, I hope you will extend a helping hand to them and tell them how they can go and file a case at consumerfinance.gov. And by the way, it's not just helping one person. Those cases and complaints have formed the basis of big enforcement actions against companies like Wells Fargo, Navient, and so many more. So one person, it is a sign, all together can really make a difference.
Can we thank Rohit Chopra for all the work that he does and for hanging out with us and spending some time with us? Thank you so much.
I hope that was okay.
Oh my God, it was so much fun.
I've been thinking, I want you to be happier. I want you to be happier. And when the evening falls, and I'm left there with my thoughts, and the image of you being with someone else, well, it's eating me up inside. But we ran our course, we pretended we're okay.
So, we have in the last few years, we've given out, normally we give out the big Bayard Rustin Award as well as the Women's Rights Award. We do this in the breakfasts or the lunches that people have. We tried this year to actually do this in the main stage so that everyone can be a part of it. And so I am bringing up Jessica Tang and Carla Hernandez-Matz, and for their presentation of the Women's Rights Award.
Good afternoon, AFT. We, Carla and I, are here as co-chairs of the AFT's Women's Rights Committee, here to present the Women's Rights Award. And this year, I'm not sure how we did it, because it was difficult to do, but we kept the recipient a secret. And we managed to keep it a secret, and the AFT staff, I gotta give them credit for them to be able to do it too, even from the people on this stage. So it is with great pride and admiration that we present the prestigious Women's Rights Award to someone who inspired this year's Women's Rights theme, which was Dangerous Woman. So, I think she knows who the dangerous one might be. So please give it up to Randi Weingarten. We have some things to say, but we'll give you the award shortly. All right, you know what? Why don't we? Yeah. So, Randi has fiercely championed the rights of educators, healthcare workers, and public employees. And in addition, she has served as a vocal advocate for critical causes such as reproductive rights and the preservation of democracy. And despite facing criticism and opposition and even threats on her life, she has remained unwavering both in her leadership and dedication to creating a more just and equitable society for all.
So for those of you who do not know, in November 2022, former Secretary of State and CIA Director Mike Pompeo labeled, yes, that's appropriate right now, labeled our president, Randi Weingarten, as the most dangerous person. So we chose to embrace it. We embraced the narrative of a dangerous woman as defined by a more inspirational person, Pat Mitchell, during her TED Women presentation in December of 2019. So here it is for all of you to indulge us. A dangerous woman, according to Mitchell, is not one to be feared, but one who is fearless. A force to be reckoned with, unafraid to take risks in pursuit of a brighter and more just world. So today, we honor Randi Weingarten as a true dangerous woman, a beacon of courage, resilience, and advocacy. So stand up and let's celebrate her unwavering commitment to make a positive impact and inspiring change in the world with the 2024 Women's Rights Award.
First off, did anybody write me some remarks for this? Okay, they kept it a surprise from me. And normally, as any of you know, no, you two stay up here. As any of you who have worked with me for more than a nanosecond know, I actually want to know what is going on every single minute of this convention. I feel very responsible for it. I feel very responsible for making sure that people have a good time, but that there's time for the business and there's time for education. So we spend a lot of time, as Fed and Evie and staff could tell you, literally from January on, every week, having a meeting about the convention, thinking about what to do, and I kept on hearing, you cannot ask the question about this. And I tried to figure out why, and then Tyr said to me with the two officers, just butt out. You don't have to know everything. And so I just want to say, Jess and Carla has taken the Women's Rights Committee and revived it in a way it should be revived for a union that is majority female. And they have, and you love, the kind of votes for women that they're wearing today, the white that I wore yesterday. There is a sense that we actually have to really fight to ensure women's rights again in a way that post the Dobbs decision has really put them in the crosshairs. So I just want to say thank you. And thank you for being the fearless fighters that you are, and that the Women's Committee is, and that we all try to do, to be both fearless and compassionate at the same time. And that is something that people like Mike Pompeo and Betsy DeVos and Jeffrey Yass and all those other billionaires and those others who want to take our rights away, they fear what these two and all of you bring. They fear it so much. And for me, that's just fine. Thank you.
So don't go too far. We have another little surprise. We have a special video that was made for you, and I want you to pay attention and watch the screen.
Good morning, everyone. Governor Gretchen Whitmer here. Randi is dangerous because she doesn't get distracted by people who doubt her or try to make her small. People like Mike Pompeo. She's dangerous to Donald Trump because she fights for our kids to have a fair shot, and she fiercely mobilizes supporters of public education. She's dangerous to people like Betsy DeVos because she fights back on Betsy's voucher schemes and holds her accountable. And Randi is dangerous because she calls it like she sees it, and she'll stand next to anyone who wants to get stuff done. So like Randi, you're all here because you believe that women play a fundamental role in shaping the future. You know, we got a big election coming up, and as women, we got a lot on the line. The ability to make decisions about our bodies, to access reproductive health care, the right to fair pay, and rights in the workplace. So going back on any of these rights doesn't only hurt women, it hurts everybody. And that's because our country depends on dangerous women like Randi Weingarten and all of you, the people who wear many hats but are never bogged down by people who try to put us in a box. That's why we need to make sure that we have people in offices, including the White House, who have our backs. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris wake up every day to deliver for the women in our country. They're going to protect our fundamental freedoms and help women succeed. So, congratulations, my friend, Randi. Keep wearing Dangerous Woman as a badge of honor. And let's all work together to reelect the Biden-Harris ticket and ensure that dangerous women everywhere have the support they need to keep getting things done.
Okay, where are we now? I think we are on organizing and collective bargaining, but I think I thought that there were some microphones that were supposed to be lit right now. Maybe what it is that there is a video of Harris and Biden right now. Is that the video? Why don't we do that first? Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President, for all that you've done for our nation.
Joe, thank you for all your service.
Thank you.
We'll miss you.
Presidente Biden, muchísimas gracias por su continuo apoyo para la comunidad latina.
Thank you so much, Joe Biden, for having our backs as teachers in Pennsylvania.
And we thank Biden for being a great supporter of public school education.
And I think President Biden has really prepared future President Harris to step into the ring.
Vice President Kamala Harris, I am so excited that you are our candidate to be president of the United States of America. I support Kamala Harris for president because she is the best person to lead this country.
Thank you, Kamala Harris, for standing with us, and we will stand with you till the end.
I'm supporting Kamala Harris because she is pro-education. We stand behind you because we know you will make things better for us.
Thank you, President Biden, for everything you've done for this country and for labor.
I just want to thank President Biden for all that he's done and for putting the country first.
Thank you for making sure that student loan forgiveness became a reality.
The contribution that he's made to our many young members for the loan forgiveness program that he's led and championed.
You are one of the greatest Democratic presidents, and you will go down in history.
The infrastructure plan, after 4 years of hearing about Infrastructure Week that never happened under Donald Trump.
Thank you for all of your support for the union.
Thank you, Joe Biden, for everything you've done for labor and for educators.
We need to continue the great work of the Biden-Harris administration.
I'm supporting Kamala Harris because she knows what to do starting day one.
Woman power, I know she can do it.
A fighter for reproductive rights, a fighter for workers, a fighter for gun safety, a fighter for people, a fighter for democracy. That's who she's been her whole life.
While listening to Randi speak, I was so moved by what she said that I went on to Act Blue and I gave a donation to Kamala Harris's campaign.
She's got all the credentials to be a really great president.
I 1,000,000% support Kamala Harris. She always stands for nurses and healthcare workers. We love her.
Kamala Harris is so ready to be president, and New Mexico has her back 100%.
But she's the leader that we need for such a time as this.
If we don't support Kamala, we will not have a democracy.
Black woman who was ready to run this country into the right direction.
She has the ability to unify.
She has this, and we got her back. She's a powerful leader, and she will have real solutions to a better life. So Kamala, you got my vote. We got to save our democracy. Vote Kamala Harris.
And in our union, in the last 2 years, we have done that double time in two respects. One, it's organizing the organized. Am I yelling too much? I'm sorry. It's organizing the organized. It is what happened after the Janus case. The Janus case was supposed to defeat us. It was supposed to bankrupt us. And in some ways, that and privatization and all of the recessions, they were supposed to take us down. You heard what I said yesterday. When I came into this, when I became president of this mighty, mighty union, we were deep in a recession. Hundreds of thousands of our members were being laid off. Some we got back. Then afterwards, it was Janus. Then it was another recession. And then it was COVID. And look where we are right now. We are at 1.4 million at that time. We are at 1.8 million right now. What that says is that is a growth that no one else in the labor movement has had. We are glad that the UAW is trying to grow now too. We're glad that the Teamsters, that the Starbucks workers, that the Amazon workers, that so many other unions are trying to see that unionization creates a path to a better life, creates the agency for people to have a voice. But this union and all of you and all of the people that you're going to hear from in the next hour or so, they have done this work, both to organize the organized and equal, if not more important, to organize the unorganized, to create ways that people who have never had a union can get one, to create ways that we can take on these big monoliths like the healthcare monoliths and actually bring them to their knees where they have to focus on workers' rights and workers' pay and workers' health and safety instead of their profits. So, I want to introduce and start with an acknowledgement of our staff before I bring Ann Tan Piazza up. I want the staff of our organizing department, starting with Darren Nedrow, our organizing director, I want them to stand. I want them to be recognized. I want us to just say thank you to all of them for the work that they have done in this work. We can accomplish things that are impossible to accomplish alone because we have each other's back and we fight for each other and for our communities. That is who we are. From the Fairfax local that organized just this year 27,000 people. No, they've organized before, but they've gotten collective bargaining, to so many of our healthcare workers, our higher ed workers, our para workers, our teachers. And I want to start with one of the most extraordinary organizers that this union has ever had, Ann Tan Piazza.
Hello, AFT. My name is Ann Tan Piazza, and I am the Executive Director of the Oregon Nurses Association, representing over 20,000 proud union members from a wide range of healthcare discipline, including registered nurses, nurse practitioners, social workers, OTs, PTs, and other pros and techs. And today, we're here to celebrate some of our historic healthcare organizing wins over this past year, and the fact that AFT has now over 250,000 healthcare members, the largest healthcare union in the AFL-CIO. This unprecedented growth translates to healthcare accounting for 50% of all new organizing here in AFT since our last convention. I'm going to start with something that's crystal clear. something that many of us in this room know firsthand. We have been reading it in the news. We have been hearing it on the front lines. We have been living it, and we've been seeing it in the numbers. Healthcare professionals are sick and tired of being left behind and disrespected by profit-driven hospitals and healthcare entities. We want decent working conditions. We want safe staffing. We want to be able to administer the quality of care that our patients deserve. In other words, we want a union. Healthcare workers are fed up. They're ready to organize for dignity at work. And hearing the call, AFT, with our local and state affiliates, has responded resoundingly. We have your back, and together we can win. We have had monumental wins in healthcare. In Michigan, we organized over 5,000 healthcare professionals. The UMMAP has added more than 1,900 healthcare workers in recent months, more than doubling their total membership. And now, through the strength of the union, more and more Michigan healthcare workers will be able to ensure better lives for themselves and better care for their patients. And this achievement is a testament to the power of collective action and the unwavering commitment of our union to stand by healthcare workers in their fight for dignity and respect. And in Vermont, over 3,000 healthcare workers have joined the AFT in the last year and successfully normalizing safe staffing and a $20 minimum in hospitals across the state. And this victory is not just a win for those workers, but a significant step towards setting a standard for the rest of the country. It also shows that when healthcare workers come together, they can create safer, fair workplaces that benefit both the staff and our patients. AFT Connecticut had a major healthcare staffing victory with a law that ensures that our bedside nurses have the majority vote on staffing committees and that those committees will approve any staffing plans. This legislation, yes, Vermont, this legislation empowers nurses, giving them a critical voice in the decisions that affect their work environment and patient care. And it is a model of how we can put power back into the hands of those on the front lines every single day. And of course, I have to shout out to my home away from home, the Washington State Nurses Association. Woo! They won safe staffing legislation that tightens regulatory control over staffing conditions and give nurses new power to ensure safe staffing levels. And certainly, last but not least, near and dear to my heart is my home state of Oregon. Our spectacular organizing team at the Oregon Nurses Association has brought more than 3,000 new members into our union family over the last 2 years. And OFNHP has organized more than 900 members since our last convention. And in partnership with OFNHP, I am so proud that ONA led the successful effort to pass the first law in our nation to establish specific nurse-to-patient ratios and powerful enforcement mechanism. This law is groundbreaking. It not only sets a precedent for other states, but also addresses nursing recruitment and retention while ensuring the highest quality of care for our community. And this law also includes significant penalties for employers that fail to comply and making it a robust tool for protecting, once again, our nurses and our patients. These legislations are crucial in our ongoing battle to improve working conditions and patient care standards. They demonstrate our ability to enact meaningful change through persistent advocacy and solidarity. And just this last month, AFT announced a brand new doctors organizing initiative, Union Physicians of AFT. And for too long, physicians have been excluded from the collective bargaining process. This initiative is a significant step towards unifying all of healthcare under a single banner, strengthening our collective voice, ensuring that everyone in the healthcare system is treated with respect and the dignity that they deserve. This is huge. And these are just a handful of wins. Really quickly, can I have everyone who works in healthcare, whether in hospitals, schools, higher education, community setting, please stand up. Awesome. One more round of applause for our union siblings caring for our community. Through AFT's Code Red campaign, we have been able to thread the needle on organizing and legislative wins in the healthcare space. This campaign has been instrumental in bringing together healthcare workers from different regions and specialties, creating a powerful network of advocates who are committed to improving patient care conditions across the board. And it is through the union that we're working together to make these wins happen so that we don't feel alone or like we're fighting ourselves. And I know that the work is just beginning. We're going up against the might of the U.S. for-profit healthcare industry and anti-union politicians who don't want to see dignity in our work. These powerful interests will continue to resist our efforts, but we are more determined than ever because we know that our cause is just and that we have the strength and solidarity to prevail. Organizing is hard, really hard, and organizing doesn't end when the workers win their certification of a union. These contracts are the foundation of our efforts to improve working conditions and patient care because we have to win a first contract. These contracts set the standards for wages, for benefits, for working conditions, and they are absolutely crucial in ensuring that the victories we achieve at the bargaining table translate into real improvements in the lives of our members and our patients. I'll end by saying that I know the future is bright for us. I cannot wait until the next convention when we have even bigger organizing victories. I cannot wait to watch each of these organizing drives turn into exceptional contract victories. And I cannot wait to continue this fight for a healthcare system where nobody, not patients, not doctors, not nurses, not OTs, not PTs, not social workers, not anyone is left behind. Thank you. And it is my great pleasure to now welcome to the stage all the way from Hawaii with the University of Hawaii Professional Assembly, Christian Fern.
Aloha! Greetings from AFT's Hawaii affiliate, and the 3,300 faculty on all 10 campuses of the University of Hawaii throughout the Hawaiian Islands. We care, we fight, we show up. As the exclusive representative of the University of Hawaii faculty, these words from AFT immediately resonated with me and the University of Hawaii Professional Assembly. AFT lives by these words. Since my first meeting with AFT's Darren Nedro, I've witnessed AFT walk the talk. UHPA's 18-month affiliation journey included free informational clinics for UHPA members, and to date, 36 qualified for roughly $1 million in loan forgiveness from the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. President Weingarten, flying through Hawaii on her way to Australia, took the time to have breakfast with myself and Associate Executive Director Dwight Takeno. After the Maui wildfires destroyed Lahaina, AFT sent $10,000 to help UHPA members impacted by the fire. We care, we fight, we show up. UHPA's board unanimously voted in favor of affiliation on December 9th, 2023, and UHPA officially became AFT affiliate 6625 on April 1st. We are proud to be a part of the 70% of all organized higher education faculty represented by AFT and part of the largest union representing higher education with more than 400,000 higher education members. We have power in numbers. Our voices are amplified when we stand together. As challenges in higher education arise, more are seeing the value of AFT. Since the last AFT convention, 27 additional units representing more than 7,400 faculty have joined AFT. I'd like to congratulate the Dutchess United Educators in New York, an independent for a decade. All faculty and academic professionals at the University of Kansas. Go Jayhawks! The staff at Walla Walla Community College in Washington. The faculty and librarians at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. The full-time faculty at 5 community colleges in Maryland. The postdoctoral fellows at Brown University, and most recently, the faculty at Navajo Technical College, the first Navajo college that has organized ever. We care, we fight, we show up. He Hawaii'au, I am Hawaiian. I want to close by sharing the famous war cry of King Kamehameha I, the first Hawaiian king to unite the Hawaiian Islands. Imua e nā pō ki'i, a inu I ka vai ava, a ohe hope e ho'i mai ai. Forward, my young brothers and sisters, and drink the bitter waters of battle. For there is no turning back until we are victorious. Let's continue to care, fight, and show up for one another. Aloha and mahalo.
Wow. Are we up? Are we up? Okay. Thank you, Ann and Christian. Yes, we are the mighty, mighty AFT, and we are growing. And there are more of us here who are proud AFT members, so we're going to take it to the floor. Get ready, get ready. Microphone number 1. Introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
Hello, everyone. My name is Laquetta Mackey, and I'm the proud but very humble president of the Norfolk Federation of Teachers, Local 4261. I I stand here before you today to share some exciting news. As a new president to my local, we have made history. We have grown our density by 9%, increased our membership by 362 members, and have shown 36% growth of our members in less than 1 year. By no means was this an easy task, but with the encouragement of our wonderful regional director, Mr. Jeffrey Croachman, our national rep, Greg Hoakley, my amazing staff, my executive board, and building reps, we made it happen. And you can do it too. Some of the things that helped us achieve our great growth were, one of the things, take advantage of new teacher orientation. Just setting up 2 carts with teacher gifts, it attracts them to your table. So it gives you a chance to talk to the teachers and staff that's new to your school to join your union. We conduct table talks in the morning as early as 6 o'clock a.m. I'm with my field reps. We set tables at schools each week to attract members to join our union. We hold events such as a bowling night, but the key to it, to attend, you must bring a non-member to join. Some of the other things that we do is we make sure our building reps are in each of our buildings and they share our information about our union. We also give incentives for people that recruit our union members. And also, some days people will drop your union. It happens. But what we do is we call our members and we say, hey, what is it going to keep you in our union? And we stress to them the importance of why you should not drop and tell them it's important that you cannot afford to be without our union. And most of the times they stay, so it helps. Just us reaching out to them encourages them to show that we care and they stay. Sorry. I could go on and share things that we do, but just to know, if you set a goal for your membership growth, you can achieve and exceed it. With hard work, having a plan, execute it, and having great AFT staff to support you can make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laquita. Microphone number 3.
Hello, AFT. I'm happy to be here. Maria Paradiso, Federation of Nurses, Local 2. Where are my nurses? Yeah. So I want to share some accomplishments with you all and the power of a grievance. Some years ago, our chapter negotiated staffing guidelines into the collective bargaining agreement. Since that time, our nurses have filed many short staffing grievances. Last year, we filed over 2,000 short staffing grievances. All of those grievances we took to arbitration.
Number 3.
We flooded the arbitrators with our short staffing. They had to listen. Our position to the arbitrators was the importance of staffing ratios so our nurses could deliver safe care. Because we all know what happens if we have short nurses on the unit. Our patients then suffer. So the arbitrator not only agreed with our position and that the employer violated the bargaining agreement, but the employer also had to pay an award to the nurses that worked short-staffed. Yes. For each nurse that was short-staffed on the unit, the employer had to pay the nurses that worked their daily salary. Wow. That was the first arbitration. The second time, a second arbitrator also agreed, and again awarded the nurses. Not only did we win 2 arbitrations, but we won 3. And we keep winning. Every month we go to arbitration, and we, the UFT, keep winning. We, UFT, keep winning. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Microphone number 1.
Good afternoon. Or in Alabama, we like to say, hey, y'all. My name is Erica Hughes, and I'm the president of Central Alabama AFT, local number 2143. Woo. We serve 13 districts in our area where we are wall to wall. We do not have collective bargaining, and we are not a merged state, and we are a dominant NEA state. I became president 2 years ago after 18 years as an elementary classroom teacher. Of those 18 years, I was an AFT member, all of them, and 15 years a building rep where I was the voice for many. I am deeply passionate about advocating for the employees in the trenches. It is the decision makers that need to realize and understand that their actions have real consequences. Over the last 2 years, Central Alabama has grown in record numbers since being chartered due to the amazing assistance from our national president, Randi, believing in my vision and trusting myself and my amazing staff to carry it out. However, I quickly realized that in order for us to have more of a voice, we had to branch out outside of our local. At that time, I called on the absolute best regional director the AFT has, Jeffrey Coachman, and said, why in the world are we not representing the largest district in this state, Jeff? Well, let me tell you, it's because that local Mobile County AFT 6248 didn't have a president or an executive board since 2017. At that time, I said, Jeff, let's build it. Let's build it back. Because at that time, that local had dropped to 13 members, as in 1-3. That's not acceptable. We need power. While working with the one and only national rep and national AFT, we developed a service agreement, and I started to run that local and assist them in February of 23. In Alabama, we have a law where we can only sign up members dropping another organization the first 6 weeks of school and not again for another year. With that support, the one and only amazing Nat Rep, Aisha Baldwin, and myself developed a plan to attack that entire district, which is 4 hours away from the local that I was represented to run. Over the last year, we have recruited over 500 new members into Mobile County AFT, as well as the AFT family, incorporated the Teacher Leader Program, passed out over 20,000 books at Mardi Gras, and partnered with local businesses to host literacy events. We are currently building an executive board so that they can run their local. Brothers and sisters, Alabama's AFT future changed 2 years ago at the convention because of 2 people, Randi and Jeff. They gave me a chance. Today, July 23rd, 2024, I'm here to tell you, Alabama is here. And at the next convention, we will be adding to the number of new members, new locals, to the national AFT family, because Alabama will change from an NEA dominant state to an AFT dominant state. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Erica. That's excellent. So how about microphone number 4?
Hi, I'm Steve Politzer-Allis. I'm a member of the United Academics of KU, that's the University of Kansas. This spring, we won our authorization election with over 86% of the vote, and this summer we started bargaining our first contract. Thanks. So I just want to say a couple words about how we got to this point. Our push to get organized started in the height of the pandemic when the Kansas Board of Regents suspended tenure protections. And that's what made many of my colleagues realize that we need to join together and protect each other. But at University of Kansas, the majority of us don't have tenure or aren't on the tenure track. And so at that time, a lot of colleagues were like, well, protecting tenure doesn't really help me. So what allowed us to move beyond that and what made our movement bigger and stronger and more unified was that all of my colleagues, we had thousands of conversations with each other. We got to know each other, learned each other's stories, learned what our colleagues needed. And that put us in the position that now we can fight for a contract that is not only narrowly focused on tenure, but it's going to help every single person in our unit. And we couldn't have done that without having those thousands of conversations and learning what we needed. So the reason I shared that is because I think our example is a reminder that one of the greatest sources of power that we and our colleagues have is the conversations we have with each other. And I'm so excited that my Jayhawk siblings and I are joining this body and joining this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Okay. I have microphone number 4. Did we just? I think we just did number 4, right? Okay, microphone number 4, set. Yeah.
Good afternoon. I'm honored to be here today with 2 of our newest local leaders within the Texas AFT, representing the Brownsville Educators Stand Together, President Celia Broussard. Representing the newly chartered local Spring AFT, we have our organizing chair, Yolanda Merritt. For 3 years, these tenacious leaders have worked to build a local out of nothing, out of thin air, and collectively they bring together almost 1,500 new members to our federation. Thank you.
Thank you, Seth. Microphone number 7.
Hello, AFT. My name is Colin McCain from Local 6056, Alliance of Charter School Employees with AFT-PA. I'm here to share that from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia and across this nation, charter school employees are fed up with CEOs and unelected school boards putting their paychecks before student success and refusing to give workers a seat at the table. Charter school employees are ready to stand up, united, to demand that seat at the table by forming a union. Our local, with help from our incredible AFT-PA staff reps, as well as with large support from our AFT-PA leaders, have settled 3 first contracts and doubled our membership in the past year. We have had 2 units voluntarily recognized, as well as more union elections coming up soon. We will again add hundreds of AFT-PA members to our ranks. Our local is committed to continue to support charter school employees organizing their unions, both in PA and across the nation, by working with our AFT-PA union siblings in New Orleans, Washington, D.C., Boston, and all across the nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next microphone is, we just had 7, microphone number, let's do microphone number 2.
Thank you.
Okay, let's just do 2. Microphone number 2.
Hello, AFT family. My name is Serena Rohr, and I'm the proud president of Oregon Federation of Nurses and Health Professionals, Local 5017. Thank you, Anne, for the shout out. Our work together has been incredibly impactful for our members, and I look forward to our future successes. It's incredible and inspiring to hear about all the great organizing happening all over the country. And in the Pacific Northwest, we've been very busy. OFNHP's membership alone has grown more than 10% this year. over 700 more workers now have a voice despite every obstacle thrown at them by the employer to prevent the yes vote. We are especially proud of our organizing victories at LabCorp and Peace Health. The lab professionals at LabCorp won unions in all 12 of their Portland hospitals and legacy health systems. These workers beat 7 union busters running round-the-clock captive audience meetings for weeks on end, and they won by 86%. And at Peace Health Southwest in Vancouver, Washington, we are celebrating a monumental victory. Nearly after a decade of fighting, social workers, pharmacists, physical therapists, and other professionals in the bargaining unit are joining OFNHP and WSNA colleagues to create nearly a wall-to-wall AFT represented hospital. I couldn't be happier for our members as they pivot to start fighting for their first contracts. The work is never done. I want to take just a moment to thank Randi and all of you in this room for the continued support to continue the work and to continue growing. At nearly 7,000 members, the numbers are good, but we know that this is just not about numbers. It's about a movement, our movement, the labor movement. We also know that we are in a moment, and OFNHP will continue to seize it. We will continue to organize for respect, dignity, safer working conditions, better wages, better benefits, equity and inclusion, and a voice for all healthcare workers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Microphone 7.
Good afternoon, everybody. Jessica Tang, VP and AFT Massachusetts President. And as unions, our job is to fight for working people and to organize the unorganized. And when we're fighting for social justice, racial justice, economic justice, educational justice, climate justice, other workers notice. And that's how we started charter organizing over the last few years. And in the last just 6 months, we were able to unionize 267 workers in 3 charter schools and 6 bargaining units. And this is the work we're going to continue to do and align our contracts so that we can continue to build power to fight for all the things that we believe in.
Thank you, Jessica. Okay. Microphone number 7 again. I'm coming to it. There's a plan here.
7 again. Good afternoon, labor siblings. Kenya Campbell, president of AFT Maryland 8018. Glad to be here. I am a proud member of the Baltimore Teachers Union, Local 340. Our state federation is broad and diverse, and it includes K-12 educators, correctional officers, state and local government workers, public health professionals, and higher education faculty. So if you ask the question, we are booked and busy. We are proud to have successfully identified and targeted public employees in Maryland who deserve collective bargaining. With a combination of effective organizing and legislative advocacy, we secure unionization for educational professionals at the Maryland School for the Deaf. We also work to get collective bargaining legislation for full-time faculty at community colleges, 5 community colleges in less than 10 months. In addition to successful organizing on community college campuses and at the Maryland School for the Deaf, we successfully organized the residents and fellows at the University of Maryland Medical Center. The doctors there voted 628 to 19 to unionize and affiliate with AFT and AFT Maryland. Those doctors became the first residents and fellows in Maryland to unionize. Our successful organizing is possible Because of the collaborative work of the worker activists on the ground, the state federation's commitment to organizing and supporting local workers, and the National Federation's resources that ultimately connect working people to representation. So thank you to our net reps, our regional director, SBJ, and anyone else that supported us. And we're not stopping there. We're going to go across the state. Thank you.
Thank you. Microphone number 6.
Hello. My name is Libby Vasey, she and they pronouns, from Columbus, Ohio, and I am an adult services librarian and the very first president of Local 6606, Worthington Public Libraries United. We started organizing in the summer of 2020 because the pandemic was the last straw for us. Our administration got to work from home while we had to work with the public. And directly prior to quarantine in December of 2019, a massive staff reorganization occurred where 1/3 of our public-facing staff were forcibly switched to work in different buildings permanently for seemingly no other reason than to break up the friendly work culture staff had cultivated between each other within their library branches. It took us till April of 2021 to go public and march on the boss, where we were forced to vote despite having nearly 80% of the proposed unit sign authorization cards. We won the vote with nearly 90% yes votes in October of 2021. Thank you. Then bargained for a year from March 2022 to March 2023. So we are officially about a year and a half old. The impact our union has had on our workplace is huge. Communication walls are coming down between our administration and our staff, most notably because our old CEO left after only 3 bargaining sessions, having resigned effective immediately. So we have a new CEO who we are actually getting along with rather well. We also won a 13% raise over the 3-year life of our contract. We got 6 weeks of parental leave. We got bereavement leave and assault leave, better vacation and sick time accrual rates for our part-time staff, and much, much more. I am hoping that one day soon we reach full union density among all of the Central Ohio public libraries and beyond, since it has made such a huge difference for us. Thank you.
Thank you. We love librarians. Welcome to the familia. Okay, microphone number 7.
Good evening. My name is Leslie Blateau. I'm the president of the New Haven Federation of Teachers. In New Haven, we are building the power of our union to engage members in the fight for the schools our students deserve. First, in fall of 2022, with our contract campaign to address the serious teacher shortage in New Haven. In Connecticut, there is a legacy of racial and economic segregation, and one way that this shows up is how teachers are paid across the state. To put it simply, we're paid less in cities like New Haven, and this causes more vacancies and limits students' access to the education they should have. So when the BOE walked away from the negotiating table with the support of our amazing AFT Connecticut staff, we mobilized our members to stand up and fight back and demand the BOE return to the table, where we ultimately won a historic 15% raise over 3 years for our members and for our schools. Fast forward to 2024, our fight for fully funded schools continues at the local and state level with the support of AFT's PPI grant. Our members, in solidarity with parents, caregivers, students, union siblings in AFSCME and Unite Here, we ran a Fund Our School campaign, which culminated in a citywide day of action. We wore T-shirts and stickers and demanded our city council fund our schools. This coordinated effort led to a $5 million increase to our school budget next year. And we're not done yet. Given the inequitable funding model in Connecticut, we will continue this work with our statewide labor, community, and faith coalition, Connecticut for All, to make sure the wealthy pay what they owe in taxes so we can deliver the fully funded schools that our students in New Haven deserve.
Woo! Thank you, Leslie. Microphone number 2.
Hello, my name is David Watson, and I'm a very new member of OFNHP AFT Local 5017. I'm honored to be here today with all of you. I'm a lead social worker at Peace Health Southwest Medical System in Vancouver, Washington. My colleagues and I just won our union after a grueling anti-union campaign by our employer. Why is unionizing important to me? It's important because it gives us, the workers, a voice in how we do our work and care for our patients. I've always believed that the best resource an employer has is its employees. We need to be advocates for our patients and ourselves. We need to make sure our employers invest in us. And sometimes they need a push to see what's right. It took our professional bargaining unit 7 years to get to a union. We won our vote this year with 80%. With 80% support from community-based care and supermajority support from the hospital-based program. My fellow healthcare specialists were able to see through the lies and the fear-mongering, and we sent a clear message to our employer: invest in us. It's the right thing to do. Thank you, AFT, for sticking with us all those years, and thank you, Serena, Jonathan, and OFNHP leadership for continuing to believe and invest in us. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Okay, last but not least, let's go to microphone number 1.
Hello, my name is David Walrod. I am the president of the Fairfax County Federation of Teachers, AFT Local 2401. I am the co-president of the Fairfax Education Unions, an alliance between FCFT and the Fairfax Education Association, an NEA affiliate in Fairfax County. And for those of you that don't know, Fairfax County is the 9th largest school district in the United States. And as of 5 days ago, our 27,000 workers are unionized. Organizing in Virginia was difficult. In 1977, collective bargaining was banned in the public sector, and it remained banned until 3 years ago. But even then, our General Assembly didn't just say, okay, we are giving you collective bargaining rights. They said, school boards will have to decide whether or not you have collective bargaining rights. And so we've had to spend 2 years just getting our school board to approve collective bargaining, to approve the idea of us being able to sit down with them. Once they passed the resolution in March 2023, the hard work began. Throughout this entire school year, we had to inform people of what was going on. We had to build up our leadership team. We had to collect cards, lots and lots of cards. And finally, we were able to call for an election, and we were able to win that election. In the operational unit, our paraprofessionals, our bus drivers, our transportation, we won that election of 11,000 operational employees by 81%. In the instructional unit, our certified teachers, social workers, school psychologists, our 16,000 certified folks, we won that election with 97% support. It took a ton of hard work by a lot of people. It took a lot of work from my staff. We had Randi and Fed that each came out and did some events with us. Thank you both for the support that you offered. Jeff Coachman, the Southern Director, was flying back and forth between Fairfax and Miami quite regularly. And I can't say enough about all of the leaders that my team were able to develop. We were able to have so many folks in buildings having just one-on-one conversations with their colleagues, letting them know why this was so important. But finally, we got there. However, now the hard work begins. Now it's time for us to negotiate our next contract. And I am looking forward to coming back to this convention 2 years from now and telling you, one, about our new contract, and two, about the amazing membership growth that we expect to see in the near future. Thank you, AFT, for all of your support in making this happen.
Thank you so much, everyone, and welcome to the familia. Congratulations. And we wouldn't be 1.8 million members without you, and hats off to our organizing and field services department. You did good. I'll turn it over to Madam Chair.
So, it's 5:20. What I would like to do